So it's time to make our exterior garage wall. All of the walls we made previously in the class are listed here or illustrated here. This is the original stacked wall that comes with Revit. We made the top constraint the second floor ceiling and the bottom constraint the top of the footing. And now we're going to make our exterior garage wall. There is a different type of footing generally in the exterior garage wall, and it's a footing that is simply dug out of the ground. A trench is dug and then concrete is poured into it. Depending on the location of the house will depend upon how deep the footing has to go. The intention is to get the footing deeper than the historical frost line. And in this area, 36 or 42 inches is fine. So we're going to make a new level. That level is going to be 42 inches below the grade level. And we'll change that to bottom of, let's use caps here, EO garage footing, EO garage. So now we have a level that represents the garage footing. We'll take our exterior house wall and copy it over. And we'll edit the type and we'll duplicate it. And we'll call it the garage wall. And now let's take a look at the properties of that. So assuming that the garage wall is only 1 story tall, then we won't have a second story there. We can delete the wall, the second floor wall. And that may not turn out to be true. In other words, it may turn out that we do have a second floor wall. So we make a different wall type for that. There is no bond. As you can see, we have a bond area here. There is not such a thing because the floor of the garage is level with the grade. In other words, if you think about driving your car into the garage, your car approaches at grade level. So the garage floor has to be at grade level, unless you're driving some fancy SUV that can jump up a high, can maneuver a big step. We want the levels to be the same where the car drives into the garage. So we can take that bond out because it doesn't exist in this case. And if we look now, what we have is our, let's cancel that out because I took out the wrong thing. So we'll go back in. I want to take out the second floor. I want to take out the second floor bond. And then I want to take out the first floor bond because we don't have that. So I failed to do that correctly before. I'm still not happy with that, so I'm going to cancel out. I want to take out the second floor wall, so I'm going to delete that. I want to take out the second floor bond, so I'm going to delete that. And I want to take out the first floor bond, but I want to leave the brick ledge there, so I'm going to delete that. Okay, that's better. So now I know that the height of the brick ledge, in this case, I'm going to make that 8 inches tall. So I'll change that to 8 inches. And this is going to have to change because we took out the bond. So it was 12 feet. Let's make it 13 because we took out. And we'll still make that the variable. So basically we're going to have 3 wall types. We're going to have the exterior wall that has brick on it and the studs and the gypsum board on the inside. And then we're going to have what we call our brick ledge. And then below that we'll have our foundation. It's going to be the variable. So we'll say okay to that, and we'll say okay to that. And now this is what we have. Now the bottom of this will go, the base of that's going to be now the bottom of the garage footing. And the top of this, let's send it up to the first floor ceiling. Yeah, that looks very good. Now, let's see, I need this brick to go all the way down to the grade, and right now it's only a foot, so I'm going to change the height of that to 3 feet so that it will go all the way to the grade. Let's try that and see what happens. So instead of being 8 inches, let's make it 3 feet and see what happens. All right, looks better, but not quite. I want it to be some distance less than 3 feet. I want it to be a foot less than 3 feet. So we'll go back in and we'll edit it again. And instead of being 3 feet, we'll make it 2 feet. Let's see what happens now. That looks good. Look at that. Now my footing starts at the grade level and it goes all the way down to the bottom of the garage footing, which is correct. My brick ledge really doesn't have to be that tall because, but I can leave it like that. That's fine. So I'm going to say okay to that. Now I have my exterior garage wall as a stacked wall. So now we have the 3 walls that we need to do to draw our house. We have the exterior wall of the house. We have the wall that's common between the garage and the house. And then we have the exterior wall of the garage. And I really could make that 8 inches, but whatever I take out of here, I have to add to this wall. So let's do that. I'm going to edit that. I really only want that to be 8 inches. So that means that I need to add 1'4" to the height of that wall. So I'm going to change that to 8 inches. And I'm going to add 1'4". So now that's going to be 14 foot. Well, let's take a look at that and see what happens. That's better. See, I need to, by code, wood cannot be within 8 inches of the grade. So I really only need to raise this up 8 inches and then I can start using wood. So that's fine. And this actually could be, and probably would be, masonry, concrete masonry unit, not concrete. So let's change the material here. So I'll go back and edit my wall, and I won't be able to change it in the stacked wall. I have to change it in the actual wall. So so if we come over here and take a look at that wall, that is this wall. In some places that's correct. So I don't want to change that. I'm going to copy that over to here. I'm going to edit it, make a new one, duplicate it, and I'm going to call it Brickledge Garage. And say okay. I spelled garage wrong. That's okay. And then this substrate here is going to be a concrete masonry unit, CMU. And concrete masonry unit. Okay. Okay, didn't change anything else. Okay, now let's go take a look. Edit this wall. Exterior brick ledge garage. And say okay. Say okay. And now you can see that if I do it in realistic, it might show up a little bit better. Not really. So I'll go back to hidden line. But you can see that it's crocheted as a concrete block. And that's probably what would happen in real life. The trench would be dug, the concrete would be poured into the trench up to the top of the grade. And then a mason would come back and actually lay concrete block on top of this footing. And then when the carpenters come, they'll build their walls on top of that CMU. But if you wanted to do it out of concrete, you could. It would just be a more complicated, realistic construction project, because then when they poured the concrete, they'd actually have to form. They're using the earth as the form for the footing here, but above the grade, there wouldn't be any earth, so they would actually have to put some form work here and here to hold the concrete in when they poured it in. And that would be a much more complicated process. I don't think I've ever seen it done that way, but if you chose to do that, then it would be up to the contractor to figure out how to actually execute that. So this is the next tutorial about how to build a garage exterior wall, and that will be the end of this one.